I'm Hattie Knight. My journey here today was something else. Miss Millie had scheduled me for an interview, and I hadn't heard from her, and I got discouraged and said, well, maybe I didn't make the group. Then I saw a couple of emails, and pride in me said, well, you know, she didn't call me, like she said, and I'm not going to this meeting. And Miss Millie called while I was out walking today. And just to tell you how God is, I was at church today. And I mean, the praise and worship, and I was just, the Holy Spirit just descended on me, and I tell you, I shouted and shouted down something, and I don't know what it was, but when I was walking, I had my headphones in, I'm singing along with the gospel tune. Miss Millie calls, I feel the phone ringing in my pocket, and I look at the number, and I said, oh, that's the author, Miss Millie. I said, well, and pride rose up and said, well, you know. And I thought, hold on. That voice is not a God. That's the devil, and he's a liar. And he's the author of confusion, because there was no confusion with Miss Millie. Miss Millie was very clear. Please show up on this day, this time. But I could have allowed that to discourage me, but instead, God tapped me on the back of my neck as I was walking, and I reached in my pocket, pulled out my headphone, and called Miss Millie and said, and we were talking, and I said, oh, okay, what time? And I've got to pick up my daughter at 5 o'clock, but I want to come in. And put the phone down and put the headphones back in, and I'm walking, and the song is just edifying God and talking about how I won't let anything stand in my way. And I thought, oh God, forgive me. You know, forgive me for my pride, forgive me for whatever I have done or whatever I've said, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I know that there's a story inside of me. I've been trying to get it out since I was 8 years old. I'm constantly talking to people, and I'm constantly sharing stories about my life because I'm very open with things that occur with me. But I realize that there's something inside of us that needs to be shared at this particular moment in time, and that there's a reason that we've all been chosen for this. And I thank God for Miss Millie and the opportunity. And the book that I have inside takes all kinds of titles. Because I found that I've been this tall since I was 9 years old, and you know that's a lot to deal with. And everybody always thought I was the big black mama stereotype. I don't care what job I've worked. I've been an air traffic controller. I'm a delegate for I represent labor and employee relations. I represent high levels of management and union meetings and negotiations. I'm with high level people in the government, negotiating on their behalf, and they still expect me to, and you know, and it's tough. And so I thought, you know, at first, and Davida was laughing because I wrote down Big Black Mama. And the reason I wrote that down is because that's the first picture you get of me. But I'm so much more than what my picture presents. It's always amazing to me that people say, oh, I can't believe you speak so well. And I thought, what? Or that you were actually an air traffic control tower supervisor? Yes, why would that amaze you? Why would it amaze you about any of the things that we've done? We've created all kinds of things across our civilizations. And so that was one of the titles. Then as I was walking and I was replaying the song in my head, it was Whose Report Are You Gonna Believe? And I thought, oh yeah, that's a nice one too. And then I have all these titles in my head, and I'm sure Miss Millie will go by and scratch some out, and I'm looking forward to the time that we spend critiquing each other's work, listening to each other, encouraging each other. And it's just going to be an amazing God-filled time. I really feel that in my spirit, listening to all of you, listening to your stories, and I look forward to the time we spend together.
God bless.